Welcome to Changing Culture Studios, where voices of change meet conversations that matter. Here, we explore the power of art, business, and community to shape a diverse society. From stories that inspire to ideas that ignite, this is more than a podcast, it's a movement. Let's change culture together.
Welcome to the Changing Culture Studios. I'm your host, Jerv, and today we are talking the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. And a topic like this, there's only one person that I could bring to discuss this with me. Someone that was there that day, someone that has their own experience. My man Tone Jennings from Pro Rank. What's going on, Tone?
What's going on? How you doing out there, brothers and sisters?
So, Tone, I feel like we don't even need to dance around this. This is a topic that, those that should be familiar with what the Million Man March was, its purpose and everything. And for full context, you're a few years older than me. I was there. But if there's time, I'll jump in. But for you, man, when someone says the Million Man March, what's the first thing that you think about?
Man, one thing that sticks out in my mind from that day was when we arrived in D.C. I was with a few buddies of mine and some elders. And as we walked down the street to walk to the crowd, to the actual event, there were kids cheering as we walked down the street, man. So it was really like heartwarming and it really gave you a sense of like pride and community. So I really remember that unity, that feeling that you had that we were doing something positive for our community by going there and getting the information and taking it back.
I got you. So that's 1995, and in 95 you are?
I'm 16 years old, fresh.
Okay. So at this time in 95, I'm 14. I'm going into my freshman year. I'm in my freshman year in high school. For me, I remember having a feeling of not really knowing what was going on.
Right.
My father wanted us to go. My mother and my father, we drove down there, and I remember this was the first time, I think they call it, is it Metro's New York? I can't remember what DC's public transportation is called, but I remember taking the public transportation, and I remember just here I took SEPTA all the time, but I just remember the vibe felt different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Everything just seemed important.
Yes.
But I said all that to say, for me, I didn't really know what it was. I didn't know what I was going to. You were a little older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I didn't necessarily want to go. I was told to go.
Right.
You're a little older. What was your reasoning for going? Did you go on your own? Were you not forced to go, but did you go because of others? Did you go on your own? Was it something you just felt like you had to be at?
At the time, at age 16, I was thinking about having fun. Okay. Honestly, I wasn't too heavy into politics, but there was an actual kind of a story, an incident that happened.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I did attend with some elders.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say elders, one of them was my best friend's dad.
Okay.
So one night we were on our way. Me and my buddies were going to the movie theater. This was out in the county in Granite Run. So it's predominantly white out there. State troopers, they kind of harass you out there. So wasn't thinking about any of that. Went to have fun. My elder gave me a flyer for the Million Man March. He wanted me to think about, going and attending just for the event to kind of be, like I said, part of that community. I didn't take it too seriously. What I did was folded that up in my pocket and we went to the movies. As we left the movie theater, we got stopped by a state trooper. We didn't do anything wrong. We weren't speeding. We weren't doing anything, honestly. So when we did get stopped, this is the first time I experienced, I would say, some type of police harassment. I was in the back seat. I was pulled out of the car. They asked me, did I have any guns, knives, grenades, which I thought was really insulting. Grenades.
Now, you're 16 at the time, and they ask you if you have grenades. That's
guns,
crazy.
Knives, or grenades. So, I got out. I was compliant. But the result of that night was they ended up leaving us in the middle of nowhere with one gas station that had one payphone. So they towed my buddy's car, and I kind of felt that sting of that harassment. That really affected me. So that night, right there, when they dropped us off and left us in the middle of nowhere, that made me decide I'm going to be a part of this, because this is something that's important to my community, and I think I should be a part of it. I really think I need to kind of find out what I could do to make a change. So that really affected me as far as, like I said, that experience, and it motivated me to go.
So I'm still tripping off of the grenade thing.
Yeah.
So for me, like I mentioned, I went to DC with my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I wasn't too aware of what was going on. I'm a freshman in high school. I'm very much being taught what's being taught to me in school.
Yep.
Full context, my dad was always one that would, when it was history class time,
Mm-hmm.
my pop would 100% tell me the version that's not in the textbook. And
Gotcha.
I would get ridiculed left and right saying it in class. So I had a little bit of shell shock when it came to things, because, you know, I went to predominantly white schools my entire life up until college.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we're in DC, we're in our hotel room, and I'm young. At this time, my parents, we just do things together.
Right.
And I remember distinctly getting on, you know, leaving the hotel room, and I just asked my mom something simple. I was like, you know, are you going?
Right.
And she said, no, you know, this is something I'm not supposed, because I don't want to say that. This is something I got to set out. This is for you and your father.
Gotcha.
So I remember getting to, what's that called? The mall, I guess, right? Remember getting to the mall, and I was overwhelmed with the amount of Black people that I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Southwest Philly. We're from Southwest Philly. Our neighborhoods are very similar. We saw a lot of Black people, but we didn't see a lot of Black people like this.
In a positive light.
I'm went to PWIs all my entire life. I ain't never seen that many Black people unless it was something negative going on.
Right.
You're older than me. You're 2 years older than me, so you've got a little bit more life experience at that time. What was it like for you when you got there and for the record, 1 million people, right? I know we can get into that too.
Yes.
I know they tried to act like it wasn't. There's 1 million people there. You were there when they said it. I was there when they said it. What was it like when you saw that amount of people? Like, how did that impact you? How did that impact you?
It was really overwhelming, honestly, man. But like I said, I had an overwhelming sense of pride, because I was just enamored that we were all able to go there on a positive vibe, in the name of changing the culture. Minister Farrakhan did a great job of kind of galvanizing the communities all together, and it wasn't about what neighborhood you were from. It wasn't about your status. It was about us getting together, getting this information, and taking it back to our communities. Kind of like the 10%, W.E.B. Du Bois mentality. So that's what I really loved. And then I remember getting there. We were there for a minute. I believe I got there maybe 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I distinctly remember 9:30, they announced that we hit 1 million people.
Yep.
And we cheered and we hugged and we shook hands, and it was a beautiful feeling. Later on, they tried to discount it and say we weren't at 1 million, but we were there. We know what was up.
It's funny because, again, I went to a predominantly white high school, and I remember when I got back to high school, and it was a big deal because everyone knew why I missed school. We missed school for this, right?
That's deep, yeah.
So everyone knew why I missed school, and I remember, I want to say it was Time Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Time Magazine came out with something, and on the cover, it gave the impression that it was not 1 million people there.
Yes.
And I remember having to stand up to people for that reason, because I know I saw 1 million people there. I didn't count it, right? But I'm not dumb, right? I know what it looked like, right? And I think that was my introduction to maybe something before that, but I feel like that was my introduction to, they might not always be telling us the truth,
right?
And so being that you and I were there, we are putting to bed anything that they might try to spin when, talking about it wasn't a million people, if that even resurfaces, right?
Right.
But how would you describe the Million Man March, not to someone that was alive and wasn't there, but we're unks now, right?
Right.
We're older. We're the older generation
we do
now.
have that status.
We now have that responsibility to pass on knowledge, and just like our grandparents, our parents passed on knowledge. Those that were in attendance when MLK gave his speech, or any type of march or anything that they were a part of, we now have that responsibility. So, for those that are younger, what would you say? How would you describe it? What would you say the message was? What was the vibe like?
The vibe was actually to foster the mentality and kind of bring that back from the 60s and 70s to do for self. What they promoted was doing for self in your community, building your community so it could be self-sufficient, so we can build our own businesses and take pride in them and support each other. I think that was the vision. That was the overall message. I don't know how. I think we're plugging away at kind of reaching that goal, but over the years, it's been muddled. It's been, kind of lost. But because in my neighborhood, we don't have a lot of Black-owned businesses that people really take pride and support. It's always a stigma on these Black businesses, but the main message was to really support each other in our communities. Like I said, be more self-sufficient in our communities. Just in the same vein as Leon Sullivan, kind of building the community from the inside and not relying on government help or funding to push us along. So that's what I really took from it. And at 16, that was a big impact. So that kind of took me on a journey to want to give back, for the rest of my life, really. A lot of experiences after that kind of followed in that same vein to give back to the community. And I carried that, and I expressed that to my friends, my peers, my family. So it was really, really a real impactful event that this new generation, I really implored them to go to the new Million Man March that's coming, and to kind of foster that same mentality.
I mean, I'll echo that, because one thing that I'll say for myself is that being there, getting that experience was important. You get opportunities every now and then to be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
The right side of change, the right side of having an impact on the culture in your community. So whether it's the new Million Man March, whether it's any other type of movement or something of that nature, if it's something that you believe in, I would highly encourage the youth, those that are able to attend those type things, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna get you out of here on this 30-year anniversary. What do you feel that the Million Man March actually really did teach the community? What kind of impact do you feel like it's had as far as what's happening today? What lessons, if any, in your mind, like, were taught that day that kind of are impacting our community, whether it be positive or negatively, if that's something?
I think the message that was communicated that day, today, it's even more important to listen and to follow through with that mentality and that message. With what's going on with the current administration, what's going on with our minority community, I think we really need to pay attention. And this is a good time as a refresher, like I said, to bring the new generation into the fold, to kind of continue that mentality, to once again do for self, build your own community, be self-sufficient, and find ways to support each other. That's what I think this new Million Man March is important to communicate, because it's been lost in the message over these 30 years. I mean, we did have one in 2015. I think periodically we need to have these events to bring in a new generation to keep that mentality that we currently want to promote. So I really, really implore this next generation to be a part of this new event, and we can probably make this happen. It's a periodic change that we need, and we got to be consistent with it. So this is a good check-in, I would say.
I couldn't say it any better. Only thing I'll say is, it's on our generation. We have the opportunity to be the leaders on this and set the example of how important it is for the youngins to be there and to soak in the message and make sure that they bring back what they learned to the community and start or continue the process of just making everything dope, like making a change.
Yep. And I think, like you said, now coming full circle, we are the elders. So I'm gonna do my part to grab a young 16-year-old like they did for me and show them the importance of being a part of this.
Tone, I appreciate you, my brother. This is a topic that is important to be discussed, and one thing we can't gatekeep. We have to share our experiences so that the knowledge can be passed down, and the history cannot be rewritten, because it's very important for us to share the history, because we cannot guarantee that the history will be told correctly.
Exactly.
So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you all. Thank y'all for tuning in today, and be on the lookout for the next thing coming from Changing Culture Studios.
Thanks for having me, brother.